So we took, actually Sneha chose the topic. The cases could be have called other things also, but it's a good thing. So I thought, yeah, depression has been the most favored thing which has been happening in the lockdown. So let's talk 2 minutes about depression. So have you been depressed lately? Actually, 50% of the population is always at risk. And in lockdown, I think everybody was at risk. For every one case we can diagnose, there are two subclinical cases or more that can be called depression. What happens actually in depression is that life is on hold. Every decision we have to make, we are only thinking and brooding about it and are completely confused. Nothing cheers us. Newspapers anyway only carry bad news, and all news therefore is bad news. We don't want to read the newspaper, we don't want to see the TV, and the world seems dark with no ray of hope. I think somebody should mute, please. You're on. As it seems as if the lamp of life is shut off. Can you mute everybody else except me? Is it possible?
Yes, ma'am. Everyone except me. I'll mute myself. Otherwise, all are mute.
Okay.
Actually, I just checked it.
Okay. We can hear some other people. Anyway, as long as we are clear, I've only when there is echoing, that is a problem. Okay. So depression, the only thing we really have to take care mainly is suicidal tendencies. You know, I once had a case where she rang me up in the late evening, and I wanted to give her medicine because she was saying she may feel suicidal. Actually, I spent that whole night, this was long ago, I spent that whole night worrying what will happen. I told her, please pick up medicine now. And next morning, first thing I did was call her up, and she was there. It is very scary sometimes because if it happens under your watch, then you feel very guilty always. Sexual drive, you have a beautiful, attractive woman next to you and you feel nothing. So that everything is slow, you can't move fast, you don't feel active. And a life which was full of warmth and fun become barren and cold. So it is our job to see that these roads which lead nowhere now get an order, and this butterfly which has no colors, fill it with colors and get them to achieve their aim. So today we want to see that homeopathy can definitely do this, and very easily, very nicely, very easily, like a mother's hand. I always say homeopathy works like a mother's hand. And therefore, they always come back and say, you think this really happened with homeopathy, or I was just going to get well? That is a common refrain. So patients always want magic, but when they get it, they feel, is it due to homeopathy or just that my own work? Yeah. So it is not magical, but it requires definitely a lot of work on our side. So the objectives are that depression is very highly prevalent, but underdiagnosed. Almost all will suffer at least once from it. All of us. There's nobody here who can say, I've never been depressed for a short time. We may have got over it, so we don't call it depression. So it is very important to identify depression. Effective management we know is possible. I had it for my MD thesis also. And at that time, I had done a study of 87 cases. It was long ago, I think 15, 20 years ago. So with good results. So depression types are primary mainly, which are 27%. Secondary is even more with 67, and bipolar is 5.2. But you know, I was always scared of getting schizophrenia because I felt that we are not able to do as much as the allopathic. You know, they take the allopathy and they're able to do. But today I can say with certainty that we can handle this bipolar also. So in the primary, 11 were childhood history, 16 had PMS related depression, 19 had family history. And when you have a family history, you can be quite sure that, you know, the chances are much more of your reacting that way in a depressive way. Age 40, when you feel that your life is now, you know, gone, kind of youth. There are a lot of people who come to me at 40, 50, अगर तो मैं तो पति गई हूँ देश से. I said, what pati gayo? Abe to begin thayo. So precipitating factors, if there's a grief or a death, so definitely you will get some form of depression, which is common, and we get over it fast. Recently, I had a patient who 1 year after her mother died, she's still saying, I am grieving. So then we have to handle those. 25 to the 77% of depression have intense suffering. And we would like to tell them that this is not inevitable. Actually, in my practice, whenever I hear somebody, father, mother died, I first thing is I ring them up or message them. And second thing I do is always send them a remedy and say, could you please take this just for my sake, so that, I will feel happy that I did something for you. I never tell them you should not cry or you should not be depressed. I just say, do it for my sake, because they feel that they should go through all the catharsis that they feel. So they won't take the medicine. So if I say for my sake, they will take it. And early treatment is very good. So I gave it the same day or the next day as soon as I can. Assess all depressed patients for risk of suicide. And best is to open a discussion, of suicide. What type? What do you think? And so that it becomes a kind of discussion, and they take it away from it being belonging to you. And then you say you're discussing, so then it can't be such a good idea because you talk about so many other things. So depression, 3 types: psychosocial factor, depressive disorders, and bipolar, as we already said. Okay, so from there we will first move to a case. Then again, I will take a little bit of theory and we'll move to the second case. This is the plan today. Okay, so this was the case 1, which she came to me. She's only 38 years old, and she just said, I just feel so low. So low, she was a doctor. She felt very hopeless, very depressed, very sad. She felt like doing nothing, just stay at home. She even gave up her job as a pathologist in a hospital. She first came to me in 2012. And actually, I did nothing much for her. She went away. We will discuss that also, why I didn't do. It was nice. Yesterday, we had the NGH webinar, which we have every 2 weeks. And Dr. Kasim Bhai had come to introduce NGH as a senior person in the team. And he was talking about me, and he said, I love to listen to Vishpala. She always comes with a case and then she gives 3 angles to it and comes to the same remedy. So in 2012, I didn't do that and I didn't get a result. So in 2015, I cured her completely. So that's great. So she said that it began so young. I was just in second MBBS, and all her life it is continuing and with no hope of escape. So obviously, you know that depression is not the main thing. So she tackled her problem, carried on with her life, continued to study, did her MBBS, then her MD. Then she took up a job, got married, had a child. But her guilt of wrongdoing or cheating was always there because she hid her problem from her mother-in-law and extended family. So the diagnosis was not depression so much, that was secondary to her systemic lupus erythematosus. And we know that this is like a very difficult condition to treat. Neither allopathy, homeopathy, all of it have a lot of problems treating. So that she felt was like a noose around her neck. And so she often had suicidal thoughts. So she had very painful blisters, gums used to bleed, burning, was spicy and cold. Visalon also no amelioration. The skin had butterfly erythematous macular rash on the upper lip, on the chin, worse in the sun. The rash was very red on the back, elbow, chest, face. And sometimes, somewhere, they were painful, hard red, in the calves and the thighs, and quite painful. The biopsy of that showed calcium deposits. Other complaints were constipation and therefore hemorrhoids, with severe back pain and pain in the calves, better by heat and pressure. She also got cold, which immediately became sinus with yellow discharge. It came once in 3 months, but it lasted for a month, so it was very tricky. The hair fall, which was due to the system SLE, had ball patches on the vertex and the occiput, and that was the most embarrassing for her actually. So in the past, she had had TB, pleural effusion, and ascites. In her family also, there was strong syphilitic trait, cystic psoriasis with vasculitis, and mother Father's cousin had multiple miscarriages. In the patient as a person, the only important thing was that she had profuse clammy perspiration. She liked sweets a lot. There was some walnut allergy and caries a lot. Hair fall we already know, constipation we already know. So her menses, there was not much problem, except that she had lower backache and pain in the calves. She had little leukorrhea, nothing much. Obstetric history also, except that was cesarean, it was okay. Sleep, sound, she refreshed, but once a month she gets weeping and starts. But dreams are quite often and mostly about exams, not finished writing the paper. I think all of us at some point in her time, at least in India, we get this dream. I think the pressure of exam is a bit much. So her life space. She was born in 74. Her sister was born in 72, 2 years older. A second child, we often say a second and a third child, you should think of magnesium, but this was a very progressive family. The father, grandfather, all had been in the army. So child was well loved. So the problem was not about that. But the childhood was difficult because she was always ill. In 94, she got the SLE. 96, she completed. 2000, she completed MD. And then she was in relationship with a boy since 1 year, but she did not inform anybody. 2004, they got married. They did not inform anybody about the illness. Husband knew, father-in-law knew. Mother-in-law, extended family, sister, nobody else knew. So that guilt weighed on her all her life. 2005, she had the relapse of the SLE. Of course, they again told mother-in-law something else. So fever, stress, guilt. But her husband throughout, till now, has been supportive and never questioned her about anything. 2012, she had that cough, which was diagnosed as interstitial lung disease, probably related to the SLE, with a lot of phlegm, like 1 liter would come out a day, and breathlessness. But today, that is not there again. So after this, she had come to us. So ulcers on the elbow, non-healing, punched out with yellow pus, and that calcium deposit I told you on the hands. In Jan 15, she took the allopathic drug rituximab, 3 doses, and the fourth gave her a severe anaphylactic reaction, fever with chills, uncontrollable, and with abdomen. She was very, very, very upset because only drug which was helping. She continued the other drugs and had no internal organs affected except these mucocutaneous eruptions. Hair fall continued, bald patch increased. She stopped going to work, just wanted to sit at home, embarrassed. She would wear a broad hairband, or scarf, but still it would invite comments, and that would depress her a lot. Very conscious about the hair loss. She avoided going out, felt very low. She's telling me that I feel this illness is more traumatic than any other illness, even a kidney disease. So people would comment, and you know how people in India are, they advise a lot. And she would say, I can't bear it, it's very irritating, but I can't show it. I want to say that mind your own business. I myself am a doctor, I know what to do, but she could never say that. So it was all kept hidden. Weeping 3 marks, which ameliorates, and she stays at home. So August 15, she started homeopathic treatment this last time. September, in a month, small hair started growing. By January, skin was better, hair was better. By February, that is hardly few months, she had full hair on the scalp, full head of hair. Skin was completely better, marks were fading. She wants to join work, has started looking for a job, very happy, started yoga and dance class. So what are the things we will take? We will take excitement, we will take weeping ameliorate, we will say consolation ameliorate from loved people, not anybody, brooding, company desires, lazy. And the most important thing was that she had this guilty as if of a crime, anxiety, conscience. And the other things, palpitations, trembling of hands, craving for sweets, craving for eggs, respirations, clammy, ulcers in the mouth, corners, warmth ameliorate, pressure ameliorate, sun activities. Any idea? Any idea? So what is the main thing? We have to look for the main thing. What was the main thing here? Main thing was, these were the remedies which came from the repertorium. So there was sulfur, calcarea, phosphorus, natron, the usual, pulsatile, arsenic, kali, carb, lyco, sepia, naxos. So now what will you do? You will decide what is this main thing that is happening. So in 2012, I had looked like this: anxiety a lot, panic a lot, backache and perspiration. And we are very this thing about the trio of Kali Carb. So I said, okay, this is Kali Carb. So I chose Kali Ars because Ars is specific for skin and it is syphilitic myasm. And she did very well for this short time. And that's it. After that, I never did anything. I said, what did I do wrong? But meantime, patient went in. So why it had happened? Because I had stood on one leg. Any stool to be stable needs at least 3 legs, right? 4 is better, but 3 is, that's absolutely rock bottom minimum. So this is very important. Without this, you will stumble and go wrong. So look at the cases from all angles. Which kingdom, which family, which miasm. The symptoms exactly what we say genus, that is one angle. And not only the repertory working. So genus, what Rajan calls synergy. So you have genus, which is the most important thing, you have the repertory, and you have the system. So in the system will come all of this kingdom, family, mass. Patient says, this is the worst disease ever, worse than kidney, it is like death. I am so embarrassed to be asked these questions and given some advice. I want to tell them to keep quiet and I can't. So you can see she's so sensitive to the situation. So what is that kingdom? What is the kingdom? Certainly not mineral. Did she say, okay, so I tried this, and I tried this, and this is not working, and this period was very bad, so I think this is how I should handle it? Did she talk like this? Did she say it's structured, talk, rational, saying something is lacking in me, or like that? No. So how can a mineral remedy work? That is why the Kaliyas fail. Here she's talking only about her embarrassment and her guilt and how she feels and how she wants to react and she can't react. So it is the sensitivity and reactivity of the plant kingdom. So which family in the plant kingdom? She said it is like death. It hurts so much. I feel so guilty for having kept it from my mother-in-law, as if I've done something so wrong. So, which is this most famous remedy in the Materia Medica which this makes you think of? You all know it very well, and I'm sure all of you would guess it. But since we are on mute, you can't tell me, right? So, this remedy, of course, is Staphylococcus aureus. So, it is Staphylococcus aureus, but this is not the right remedy, but it is the right family. So, this is the exact state of the Ranunculaceae family. So Ranunculaceae family, it is as if it belongs to the first column of the plant subclass. And it is as if we all know this, whether we know plants, whether we know other things, we all know that Staphylococcus aureus, it is as if the skin is raw, as if they don't have a skin. Everybody's emotions and their own emotions, they feel so strongly. So there is no differentiation between that other person and you, as if you're all one, and so you feel the other person's pain as much and you feel your pain so severe. So this is the state of the Ranunculaceae. So what does our patient do? We said it's not Staphylococcus aureus, right? So what does our patient do, which is different from Staphylococcus? She tries to hide and she's covering up all the time, not facing the situation, staying at home so she won't be noticed or advised. So this is the psychotic miasm. And Staphylococcus aureus belongs to the cancer miasm. So in the Ranunculaceae itself, you have different remedies belonging to different miasm. So psychotic miasm in the Ranunculaceae family, which is the remedy. So it is pulsatility. So Ranunculaceae and psychotic miasm avoiding situation which causes vexation is pulsatility. So the main feeling is to cover up. Pulsatilla hides its anger and irritability out of fear due to the feeling of dependence. Now, many of you will tell me, I would have told you it is pulsatilla, weeping ameliorates, thirstless. So I would know, why do I have to do all these things? Correct? Because again, you would be doing one-legged stool and your stool will not be steady. If you do it this way, you are so sure that the pulsatilla will work that you will give it and you will get work. If you are so sure now, your remedies also work much faster. It's a very strange thing, but it is true. So the main feeling in pulsatilla is that of softness. So if I am like soft and yielding, people will like me more. So it is like the wind flower which bends to every gust of wind in order to survive. It doesn't break easily, not like the big oak tree which you can break but won't bend. So in human terms, I will survive if I'm soft and gentle, not hard and rigid. So you have then the genus of the remedy, which is thirstless, yellow discharge, weeping, which ameliorate, will take you to pulsatilla. So many of us would have gone to pulsatilla. Then you have to decide which potency, right? So decide the level of the patient and get your potency. The 7 levels are 1. Okay, I'm going to try to give you, I'm giving you a lot, I know, but do try just to flow with it because, this is how your thinking has to go. So I'm demonstrating to you how you should think and how it gives you such a good way. So patient comes to you, gives you reports and said, I've got rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so tell me a bit more. I've given you reports, I've told you, I've shown you where the pain is, it's rheumatoid arthritis. Can you please give me medicine? Look, in homeopathy, blah, 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 blah. No. I just want medicine. You tell me, yes, you can treat me, you can't. So this is called level 1, where just he deals with the name of the disease. Okay, so you give potency 6. Then you may have a few more facts. He'll say, okay, fine. You know what? When I sit, I feel actually okay. When I begin to walk, the pain starts. But once I walk a little bit, then it reduces. So you have the modalities. So then it's called Rustox is clear, but you will give potency 30 because you have only modality. You say, can you tell me with the pain, what do you feel? What do I feel? I feel pain. No, you feel angry, you feel sad. Please, doctor, I'm just telling you about arthritis and I've told you that I can walk in it. So this is only level 2, which is facts. So it's potency 30. Then if he tells you that, yes, that's true, doctor, I really get upset because I don't know when this is going to lead to. Maybe after some years, I won't be able to walk at all. So I'm actually worried and quite angry with God that He's given me this disease. So now you have emotions. So that is level 3, which is potency 200. So what I'm trying to tell you today is that there is not everything is just I like this remedy. This potency is my favorite potency. There's no such thing. Whenever you have a proper map and a scientific approach, then everything falls into place so much easier. Then going further, you have level 4, which has dreams. Some patients tell you, I never dream at all. Okay, fine. But if they tell you dreams, I dream every day. I, think something, exams, like she told you. So you have level 4, which is potency 1M. Then, of course, sensation level, I won't go into that too much. These are the 4 potencies we normally use. So here, so much sensitivity, so disturbed sleep and dreams were there. So we would do 1M, we would take. But here, because of the lupus pathology, I was little concerned about aggravation. So I gave her in ascending potencies, okay? So I do that sometimes when the disease is, prone to maybe aggravation will be much worse. So I give 30 today, 200 tomorrow, 1M. I call it preparing the patient to receive that 1M, because then if you get aggravation and you may say, okay, hands off, but the patient suffers too much and you should not allow that to happen. So in 3 days, I gave 3 potencies and then that's it. That's it. After that, I don't. So this is the follow-up. In 2012, I'd given her that Kali Ars I told you. By 4/9, she was much better and feeling better. Thank you so much, doctor, all that. I gave SF, then that's it. Nothing happened and she left. So in 15, patient was in a bad state. She had had that anaphylactic shock, if you remember, with that allopathic treatment. Now that was the only medicine which worked. Now what am I going to do? My hair fall is so tremendous since 8 months. There's so many bald patches on my vertex and occiput, 5 inches. Whole system is affected. I can't work. My energy is low. I have to give up my job. I feel very weepy and moody. So we gave her Pulsatilla. 31st day, second day 200, third day 1. So she actually reported the next day itself, phoned me and said, doctor, I'm feeling so good, bright, cheerful, optimistic, but I got a cold. So I said, okay, don't worry, do steaming 3-4 times a day. But I didn't stop the medicine. I could have done that. You could argue with me saying that once you get a reaction, you should stop. But I continued because I had done all this working and I knew this was the right remedy. So on 1/9, which was almost a month later, she was better 3 marks. Small hair were already on her vertex and parietal area. Patches were still there. Energy was better. She was not tired. I started yoga 3 times a week. The periods were regular. So we go away for 5 months, 1 to 16. She's completely fine except scars and marks, which are also fading, not repeated at all in 6 months. So here are her photos. She had these big patches. When patient in 16 said that my hair growth is very good, the patch is covered fully. I have hacking cough with yellow blob-like phlegm. Tongue is coated, and she wanted to join work, all that. But I didn't want to repeat the Pulsatilla 1M because the results were good. So I gave her an adjunct medicine, Brialia 200, which helped her. So patient is doing well. Father-in-law came to me. He was also my patient. He said the atmosphere of the house has changed. Thank you so very much. Last follow-up, long ago. I have not repeated Pulsatilla since October 2013. So why should I when the patient was doing well? She got a job at the hospital in the blood bank, no stress. So here is her hair. So I asked the patient to sum up. So she said it was like very good that I could do it. And then actually till now, till 2020, she was in touch. So let's talk a little bit general. To approach homeopathy, okay? So homeopathy is just like we say art and science, but we always think in our minds that it is more art than science. But we should follow both. Hahnemann has said it, art and science, everybody said it, and we have to believe that it is scientific. And then only can we tell the rest of the world that yes, it is scientific, okay? To follow scientific discipline, you need a particular way of approaching, categorizing, and differentiating the remedies. The task is easier, we follow a system rather than a random search, okay? So what happens when we begin? We begin practice, we begin studentship, then we know 1 remedy, 2 remedies, we're very happy. We do 1 case and we get a, beginner's luck is very true. All of us will get very good results right in the beginning because God wants us to, follow, we not discourage us, encourage us. So we always get that. So then we know 10 remedies, 20 remedies, 50 remedies. Today I may say I know 200-300 remedies, but that is not enough. That is not the only way. So it will be just a jungle of materia medica, and if we don't have certain maps and scientific posts, we can get lost. So what did Hahnemann say on kingdoms? We all of us have this habit. That are we straying from Hahnemann? Did Hahnemann say anything about kingdom? But Hahnemann was so great, I can't tell. There is everything he has written. All those 100-odd years ago, he has written something or the other. So he has thoughts, and then he has done so much work already. So then whatever our work we are doing in addition is all from him only. It is there. So we are never non-Hanuman. Get this out of your head. So on kingdoms, he has said in Materia Medica Pura and Ignatia that although in positive effects, Ignatia has great resemblance to Nux vomica, that is inferred from the botanical relationship of these two. He knows that there is a relationship. There are some things as family plants which are related to each other. Yet there is great difference in therapeutic usage. Ignatia is not in the person where anger, eagerness, violence, revenge predisposes. Ignatia has gaiety, weeping, dwells on grief, tries to keep the family together, tries to control, the whole family and keep them there. So Ignatia belongs to the Cancer miasm. And Nux vomica not so. Nux vomica is different. So he also subscribed to families, kingdoms. So if there was temperament, there were mineral remedies, plant remedies, animal remedies. You can see them down, emotional, sexuality. So then we feel more grounded and we know that we are going in the right path, right? So Jan Scholten, you know, right? He was the accepted, he did maximum work on mineral kingdom and so also Rajan. So he is the accepted authority. But when he heard Rajan on plant kingdom demo in 2002, he said this is like the same thing as periodic table. In the periodic table and the analysis of the elements and mineral kingdom, we said there were stages. You know that, right? So in the periodic table, we have rows, 6 rows. Each row has a different kind of connotation. It is like the evolution of the human being. So the first row, which is helium and hydrogen, they have come from the outside world to this world and they don't know whether they belong here. Then you have the second row, which is like the birth canal and the birth process. Then you have the third row where you are out of the birth and now just looking at your identity. Fourth row is about trying to establish yourself, the school age, then work, then people, family, money. So all that is fourth row. And fifth row is about creativity. And sixth row is about leadership. So these were the 6 rows. So if in any patient, you first decide that this is a mineral kingdom, find out which is the row. And then you have 18 columns. And 18 columns have stages, various stages. So then if you, whichever you think the patient belongs to, that cross of the row and the column will give you your remedy, whether you know that remedy or not. I must tell you this, I can show it to you here. So I have this patient, actually, who I've been treating for many years. No, I first knew her 24 years ago because she was married and we had given her something. And then she came back to me now after 24 years. And she came for her son actually, who had dyslexia, and he did very, very well. Okay, that is done. And then she said, "Doctor, can you help me with my hair fall?" So here we gave her some remedy, it didn't help. And then, because I gave her that remedy which was earlier, so then we gave her now, we came to the 4th row because she's always talking about work, husband not working, she has to take all the responsibility, she has to earn money, she has to invest. So it was all about family and this and that. And then we gave her, in that 4th column, we gave her ruthenium. I will try to show it to you. Ruthenium, and then she's doing well. It's only 1 month, but first time she said that I am doing well and my hair fall is better. Okay, so I'm just trying to tell you this is Jan Scholten's thing, but here the talk was on Jan Scholten being very happy with the approach of Rajan to plant kingdom. So Rajan took 2 parts. It was row and the columns, and here it is the patient state. So it is the family and the miasms. I explained to you how it is. Yes. So miasm actually is the pace and the state of desperation that a patient is in. So psoric is the least and syphilitic is the most. So when we talk, and there is lots of, this miasm is one other Kochi only in homeopathy. So it always leads into fights and arguments and quarrels and so on and so forth. So whatever happened, there were only 3 major miasms, okay? So which was psoriatic psychosis and syphilis, then tuberculosis. But apart from these, Rajan felt that in between some states had not been covered, and therefore he added these other miasms. Let's just look at it, okay, so that we are clear that there is not just esoteric, some random idea, but definitely a thought, because there is the acute miasm we already have. Typhoid comes intermittently, okay? So it is an intermittent miasm. Malaria, you never know. You think you're completely well, and then it suddenly assaults you again. Then next month it comes, then next year it comes. So it is like a continuous assault. Ringworm, let me just take you through this. So here are the acute miasm, you know. The typhoid, I explained to you, patient is completely well. So they are very optimistic about getting well. On the other hand, you have malaria, which like attacks you anytime. Okay, so you're always constantly looking over your shoulder and saying, when will it come? When will it come? So you're never really free of it, and there's always state of anxiety. The SORA is a miasm which is right in the beginning, and we know that almost halfway through, 50% till you're halfway through SORA, you can get well even on your own, but then you need a little aid. Then you have the ringworm miasm. So this what he called, these states are not covered by those other miasm. So you have the ringworm miasm, which says what? Ringworm comes, then it goes. So patient is also like that. They'll come to you, I got so much acne or I got obesity. Can you treat me? So take medicine for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Yeah, I do better, but then so he leaves. Then next year again, he says I should do something, so again it comes. Then again he leaves it. So it's like that state of try and try again, but they don't give up. So they are like in a positive way. That is ringworm. In psychosis, we have discussed just now how they hide, constantly trying to cover up and hide. From there, you go to the tubercular, which you know already. So tubercular is very active, so you have, whenever you have lot of push and activity and very intense reaction, like very high fever, lot of bleeding, recurrent colds, severe colds, loves traveling, loves going out, and very angry. So that is tuberculosis. Then you have the other 2 miasms, which are cancer. Again, I will discuss cancer a little bit with Ignatia. That cancer is constantly trying to control, trying to cover whatever area we have. It has so much kapda, it will stretch and stretch till it can cover and, keep all the family together. So it is about control, about again, suppression. Because when you have to control and give to others, you have to suppress yourself. So cancer. Leprosy, Leprosy is, when you're rejected, you are never wanted. You feel like that. Whether your mother loves you or not is not the thing. It is what you feel, that I have been abandoned, I am not loved. So if the child feels that, I am not, nobody wanted me actually, I'm the third daughter. So that is leprosy. Do you know about Ben-Hur? Have you, anybody of you seen Ben-Hur, that movie about leprosy? It was mainly, that it stayed with me. I saw it, I don't know, 40 years ago, but I never forget it. So in those times, we're talking about another kind of leprosy where the nose fell off and the fingers fell off and there was no treatment. So anybody who got leprosy was just taken out of the kingdom and gone and thrown into one island far away. So that nobody, after they went to that, you never saw those people again. So Ben-Hur's mother and sister both got leprosy. They were kept on that island. You want to ever give them food or something, you have to go there and put it in a place so that then you have to go away from there and they will come and fetch it. You can't even look at them. That is the state that was of leprosy. And that is the state the person has. Whether I wish I could give you some very good cases of leprosy. They are really exciting. So, and then you have the syphilis. So this what we have done about the miasm. So now I after understanding this, because I used to fight with Rajan and say, why did you have to call it miasm? You could have called it something else, then all these fights wouldn't be there. And he would keep trying to explain to me, that this is the sequence and therefore it is like that. So that miasms, we now know that most of the states that a human being feels is covered by that. So we did this. That plant kingdom is about sensitivity, mineral is about incomplete structure, and animal is always about winning, surviving, getting better. I'm better than him, he is better than me, and so on and so forth. Okay. So sensitivity is very different in different plants. So in one line, in one family, you will see the same kind of sensitivity type. We think aconite is different, so different, panic. Pulsatilla so different from Staphysagrina. On first look, it looks as if the intense fear of death of aconite has nothing to do with Pulsatilla's weeping and Staphysagrina's indignation and mortification, and that they are not connected, but they are. So where will I find, if I want to see these connections, that's what I'm telling you what Rajan thought and how he went to approach this. So where would I find the sensation best expressed? When do we express our emotions the best? When we are in pain. So he went to the pain chapter, and in the pain chapter, he found that the remedies from one family shared common type of pain. So then this is the connection, it was there. So in plants, what do we know about plants in general? We know that they are very basic traits, that when you do gardening also, it makes you feel calm and happy and peaceful. So they bring out in you sensations, some basic sensations. So here, that nutrients alone are not enough. You need the air, you need the sunlight, and then only you will. So they react to environment. So plants don't have a nervous system. Some example of sensitivity are they grow towards light, they grow towards the sun, they grow towards the air, so on. So they're very adaptable. They're constantly reacting to nature. They absorb so that they react to stimuli, and they are single dimensional. Okay, they are simple. Actually, in our materia medica kingdoms, the mineral is the most basic and most simple. They're structured. Then you have plants which are also simple, not so complicated. And the animal, of course, are the most complex. Okay. So plants look at a situation, stimuli in an overwhelming way. So, okay. Important question is, how does this complaint bother me the most? Ask the patient, bother you the most? Make me waste my time. So sensation is waste, natural resources, waste, that cycle. If they say I must meet new people, if I don't meet new people, I don't grow. So many situations give you that one sensitivity. This sensitivity is what you can look for. In this patient, we saw the sensitivity was basically to hide, feel mortified. Yeah. So the path to follow in plants is first find the botanical family, then find the basic sensation and occurs everywhere. So I'll give you examples. So in the magnolia, in the first column of subclass 1, lost is, I feel lost. So, the rubric is lost in well-known places. So it doesn't mean always that they are in a red street and they know what. Hello. So they feel lost, and that is because they've just come from the outside world into this world, and they don't know whether they belong there or not. Okay, so lost is the main sensation of magnolia. Shocked and shattered is in Loganaceae. Loganaceae is Ignatia nocturnica. So there is a great shock. Suddenly something happens. You've been robbed. You're now from riches to you've come to poverty, shattered. So that is Loganaceae. Very fragile. We know conifers, thuja, right? So they always feel that they are made of glass. That is your rubric, right? Body is made of glass. So I have a patient who always, when she comes to me, she will say, "Oh, doctor, can you please put off the AC? You know how my body is. No, I get affected. So I can only, she'll stand at the door and say, put off the AC. When I have to put off the AC, then only she will walk in. Very fragile. everything will affect. In anacardiaceae, Rustock's family, you have the stiffness and as if you're caught. In ranunculaceae, we already know morbidly sensitive, as if they have no skin. Peppervaceae, you have, which is opium family, so you have intense pain. And then you can have the other side, no pain. You know opium. Na? The boy, most famous example, boy put his hand through the glass and he didn't feel pain. So painlessness or pain, both are Peppervaceae. Malavales, which is a chocolate family, you have attachment and detachment. Means you're so attached and then you suddenly get detached. And Leguminaceae, which is the pea family, વટાણા ના વટાણા તમે એકવાર એને છોલો અને પછી કાઢી નાખો પછી એને પાછા જોડાય કે નહીં જોડાય પાછા તો મુકાય જ. So it is like that Humpty Dumpty poem we did in childhood. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. He never understood that it was Leguminaceae, right? Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Nobody could put it back together. Not king's horses, not the king's men could put Humpty Dumpty together again. That is Leguminaceae. They feel scattered. So first you know the remedies, then you identify them through the repertory, and then sensation, and then zoom in on the characteristic symptom. Okay. So this ranunculaceae is the most common and well known. What do we know? Effect on the nerves. So if I find a patient a lot of neuralgic system, go deep. Nervous sensitivity comes again and again and again. So very deeply easily hurt, morbid, electric shock. The hurt is produced, pain is like, ouch, electric shock. Excessive anger, grief, guilt, shock, distress, harassed. Lot of insults and lots of pains, just like Kali illumination. And sharp stitching, stabbing pains and rest. Then later it will have numbness and blunting of emotion. And actually what they hanker for is equanimity. Equanimity means calm. I don't want to be so real. So after giving the remedy, patient has to become more stable, more equanimous. So you have emotions, the PNE axis, psycho, neuro, endocrine, and immune system. So you have emotions going to the female genitalia, female genitalia going to emotion, mind, body, hormones, so on. So pulsatilla has hurt, indignation, and genitals. Ranunculus bulbosus has mind, body, and neural. Staphysagria has anger, insults, anger, tremor. So the three basic emotions, the fear, anger, sadness, grief, felt by us at one time or the other. The ranunculaceae feels all the three emotions at the same time. So you can imagine how intense it is. Yes, so that is why it is a very intensely painful. So you have anger, guilt at the same time. Example, hurt someone, then I feel angry. I also feel I did wrong. So I'm very dependent on the boss. So boss insults him, feels angry from this. Grief that he has to bear the insult and fright, and that fright is also there. I may lose the job. I said something to my boss, but I should not have. And now tomorrow he'll tell me, fire me, and I won't have a job. So all these are mixture of emotions. Insult, injustice, but also that my meat spot makes me feel, so much. I feel it so much. But that I'm poor and I cannot feel it. Why am I treated this way? But I cannot feel it. This patient also felt, no, I can't, they give me advice, I'm a doctor, and I can't even insult. So it is, insult is not a direct injury, it is not a composite, Arnica family, where it is hurt. Here it is emotional. But the feeling is to be touched in a raw, vulnerable spot, as if your skin is not there, as if the nerves are exposed and anybody can touch you, and that is the mortification and chagrin of the ranunculaceae. So today you must tell me that you will never forget the ranunculaceae, and look at this thing. I'll show it to you. I have a picture, but I didn't show you. You can see this. So here you have ranunculaceae, then you have the acute miasm, the psychotic, everything, and the cancer miasm. Okay, so according to this, once you come to the family, you can choose your remedy. Okay, this is key. So Compensation is what they want to go to file. Okay, so we finished that case. That case was really very, very good, and it helps you to teach the whole ranunculus family very well. So I want you all to go away with trying to use it and not ever forget it. So in depression, you have, this is some general talk, steps of counseling. Be there for the patient. Not always that you will find the remedy. Sometimes the doctor is more important. So patient will always tell you, doc, I spoke to you, then I felt so good. Okay. So when you want to be there for the patient, your mind should be empty. You should not be worrying, okay, it's 12 o'clock, I have to go home, I have to cook. What will my husband say if I'm late? No. That time you are only there for the patient. Keep your mind empty, but for your empathy and kindness. Allow the patient to talk and talk. Other doctors always tell us, right? अरे तुम क्या है, तुम तो उसको बोलने दे, तो इमोशनल कथारसिस है तो पेशेंट तो अच्छा होएगा ही। अरे तो आप करो ना, आपको कोई ना बोला क्या कि आप इमोशनल कथारसिस नहीं कर सकते? आप करो, आप पेशेंट को अच्छा करो। आपका काम तो फाइनली पेशेंट को अच्छा करना है। व्हाई डू यू डिमोट अस and say you are doing only emotional catharsis? Questions only should be brief to guide patient to the right action, especially when it is suicidal. Just keeping the patient stable and changing them is our goal. Okay, so you want to do some questions now? We can do 5 minutes and then take this. What do you say?
Ma'am, if it is all right with you, can we take the questions later?
I don't mind. I don't mind. Okay. So, this patient I called catatonic depression. So you say, I heard of catatonic schizophrenia. I heard. What is catatonic depression? I like to transpose these terms. This patient of depression had, she would sit in one place for hours. She never did anything. So it is like catatonia, yeah? But with depression, so I call it catatonic. Sitting, not ideal, sorry, idle for hours, no expression at all. The history was taken on telephone. She lives in Jaipur. So this was a 2018 case, okay? She was like a zombie. She was a college professor. College was 40 kilometers from Jaipur, and she would go there again and sit like a zombie. Then her sister, who was also a professor in the college, would come, shake her and say, "Tere ko lecture hai." So then she would get up, go. I don't know what she thought. She had been in that town, little village. Hello. Okay, so she. I'm also sensitive. Huh? Don't give me pulsatilla, please. To all sounds, I'm sensitive. Okay. So she would go there, sit like that. Her sister would say, "Tere ko lecture hai." So she would go there, and then whatever she had prepared, she would talk. And then she would sit back again like a zombie. She was cut off from everything. So the weekend she would travel back. So her mother stayed near there. So she thought it was not worth traveling every day 40 kilometers. So she would stay weekdays to the mother's house and come only for the weekend to her house. But even the weekend, her children were small, but she never interacted with them. She never did anything. For herself also, she often didn't have a bath. She went to, without a bath, without brushing, she would go to college. No interest in anything. We gave many medicines, okay? A lot of weakness, lot of grief, phosphoric acid is my favorite remedy for grief. Means not grief, severe grief. So, nothing, sepia, no interest, aversion to everything, nothing. Suicidal, we thought, or met so much depression, nothing. She would say, yeah, little better, nothing, zero. So then, once she had an acute episode, out of the blue, she got angry, violent, throwing things, and we gave her Hyoscyamus. We told them, buy it now and give it. Okay, but it didn't work too much. So question was, why is she like this? Just taking this much is not. She's telling me, as a child, I was so bright. I came first. I did everything. I participated in all extracurricular activities. Then what happened? She said she got married. Oh God, there should be no mothers-in-law in the world, right? So mother-in-law treated her very badly, taunted her, criticized her. Then after some time, but told her she was no good. So this girl who was constantly nice and bright was told she was no good. So fortunately, husband was transferred to Calcutta, so they moved there, far from the mother-in-law. But really, your thoughts have continued. I really asked, really? Sache, એવું થયું? નહીં થયું. She became pregnant. So then your mother-in-law came to help. I said again, really? She came to help? Or something else? Mother-in-law came, criticized her, berated her. So Kyarebi, you'll never be a good mother. You તો છોકરા ઉછેરતા જ નહીં આવડે છે. You will never know anything. Continuously she talked like this. So patient felt miserable, sad, depressed, and she withdrew completely. Once the child was born, she did not take care of the child at all. Then she had a second child. Husband was transferred back to Jaipur. They moved to Jaipur. She was still like that. She could hardly do work in the house, mostly she was. Now she said she wanted also to get well. So she thought if she goes to an environment which was good for her, where she blossoms, she may be better. So she said, I want to go back to my college to teach. Distance was much, but the husband agreed. So as I told you, children and husband stayed in Jaipur. Patient went there and came for the weekend. No interaction. As a child, she was like princess, very pampered. You see the crown there? Nice, no? So dad died later. Anyway, before that also, dad told all siblings, don't let her do work, let her study. She is a princess. Let her study, let her focus on study. So she was very studious. Her focus was only on study. And she was an example to everybody. She came first and everything. Anyway, so she got married. And I told you all that, mother. I told you about Calcutta. Then he would then listen to her. So sisters thought they were well adjusted and things were okay. But 2005, when she delivered, all these abuses happened. She became, and once she even hit the patient. Mother, she delivered, how can you hit? But husband said she's okay. She hits us also. So for them, they've grown up with it. I know the husband, I know the other daughter-in-law, I know, in fact, even the mother-in-law is my patient, and I'm trying my best to see if, but she's come with cancer, so not much anyway. And not much I can do for the mind. So gradually, this patient felt injustice crowding in. She felt even the husband is flirting a bit, not giving her money, and she started feeling betrayed. She felt not much love for the child also. I told you she went back to Jaipur and went back to college. Now she's in deep depression, indifferent, moods, no bathing sometimes for 5 days. She goes to college sometimes without bathing, sits in college, his sister calls her. She has very poor opinion of herself. She feels very abused. So we take all these repertorization rubrics: indifference, apathy, everything to you, apathy, loved ones to you, children to you, betrayed feeling, wrong suffered, injustice, bathing, work, mental she doesn't like now, alone likes, she can't express herself, sadness, hurt, absorbed in thought, sit desires to wrapped in deep sad thoughts, company aversion to, wrong, she feels wronged, confidence went off, want of self, then success doubt of, trapped, abused, insulted, criticized, wrong suffered has. Okay, so many rubrics you take, and then you come to the chart. Can you all see the chart? Yeah? Luckily, we have no board and people at the back can't see. Everybody has their own.
No.
You can't see the chart?
No.
Why? Such a clear chart. I don't know what to do.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
here it is very strange. Yeah? So as I told you, I would thought of sepia, the second remedy. So 16 rubrics it covers sepia, phosphorus 16 rubrics, lycopodium 15 rubrics, sulfur 16 rubrics. Strange, you know. And fifth remedy is lacumanum, which has 17 rubrics. I had no idea about lacumanum. Why is lacumanum here? Okay, so what happened in the follow-up is that she shifted back to Jaipur. She would travel daily to Alwar for the job. She spends quality time with her kids, plays with them. It is 18, 19 we are talking about. We're in 21. The patient is completely fine. We have not even repeated the medicine in the last 2 years, I think. So. At least definitely 1.5 years. So the remedy was lacumanum. So what is lacumanum? It is milk, mother's milk, right? 7 mothers' milk is lacumanum. Milk was taken from 7 mothers and remedy made, and it is all about bonding, love, human bonding with mother and child. So it is issues were of inability to receive nurturing coupled with the improper mother and child bond. A split resulting in a schizoid personality, separation from emotion, retreat into spiritualism, isolation, inability to trust the love of others, a sense of victimization and consequent resentment, which leads to activism, especially in support of mothers and children. It is a beautiful remedy. I give it whenever I find the bonding is not good. So I had another patient. She was a young girl, 15, 16, I think she came to me. She was a fantastic singer. So her music teacher sent her to me actually. He said, she's such my best student, sings so well. But she can't do anything else. She can't manage her day. Her mother has to be constantly on the phone with her and tell her, okay, now you have this period. Okay, now somebody will pick you up and take you to this tuition, to the music class, and so on and so forth. It was constant. She couldn't do anything. She didn't give the time. She didn't know how to manage herself. Nothing she could do. So then what we had found, and the mother you can see is very caught up in her. So where was the bonding there? So what had happened was when she was born, the mother also got a problem, high fever. She had to be put in ICU. And she was a very premature child. She had to be taken to another hospital. And still the mother, whenever she could, she would express the milk. Somebody would carry it, give it to her. All this happened. But the real bonding didn't happen. The skin to skin bonding didn't happen. The breastfeeding didn't happen. So again, we had given her lacumanum. And the child went to college. She could travel by train. She could do her periods and all that. Very good. Very good. So coming back to this case, I feel if I tell you 2-3 cases, then the remedy will stick to you. So it is basically abandonment. Yeah. So here you will say why she felt abandoned. The children should have been given lacumanum. First of all, the children didn't come to me. Once I thought of telling them, no, I did tell them, can I see the children? Can I give them a single dose? But nobody responded. So we cannot, we can only take the horse to the water to drink. We can't make it drink. So false oblativity. Masimov uses this to suggest a giving or altruistic nature where the focus is not on self but others. And so here it was not there. Ambition. Even in that other girl, though the mother did so much, maybe it was false oblativity because she was still very angry with the child. So patient have difficulty in seeing their lives and identity separate from their family. They're very enmeshed and they can't be defined without them. They still see the defining reference to be their parents. Okay, so here it was her parents. There is also an ambivalent relationship. Should I become my own person? Will this disappoint my parents? The father was so proud of her. So she had to be like that only. Is it even possible to be my own person? Who am I? Can I detach from them? Can I cut the umbilical cord? Masimov find that if patients who respond to milk remedies come from an over-caring family. So actually her father had not let her develop except in one area, right? So she couldn't face the world as such. So she was only so protected. She got everything in her hand. She only had to study and she had to live up, and everybody praised her. So she developed very unilaterally, and then when she went to the outside world, she couldn't cope at all. So I have seen both some families who've been extremely neglectful and abusive, and others who wanted to keep the child, an adult, close and undifferentiated. There's often an experience or a fear of abandonment in the patient requiring a milk remedy. They may feel feel disconnected from their family or others, and often coupled with feeling of unworthiness or inadequacy. We saw that in this patient. They have difficulty in expressing themselves. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't fight with her mother-in-law. I have, as my patient, the other daughter-in-law who completely, I called her from Parda to modern miss. If you see her, you cannot believe she comes from such a orthodox family. She's always in short dresses, well dressed, and she could react to the mother-in-law, and she immediately went away and said, "I will not handle this." She doesn't today talk to her mother-in-law. So, and the husband is okay with it because there's nothing much to be done. Because even there, the mother-in-law came and abused her in her delivery time. So then she said, "That's it. I won't take any." So this girl couldn't do that. Okay. So they just have this internal, they keep it inside and have internal conflict. They fear that if they did this, they would risk the familial relationship and could lead to separation and abandonment. And because life is about, being ideal, good daughter-in-law, they feel conflicted when if they given to their personal needs, and they think that it will be called selfish. So we see a lot of indecision. Should I be what I want to be? Should I be what my mother or mother-in-law wants to be? Should I be an ideal child? Should I break free? All that. So rubrics in which lac humanum come, we saw I was actually stumped, amazed. I would not have thought of lac humanum if that not come in the repertory. So what in this whole place, I'm trying to tell you that there's nothing which is not important. In homeopathy, everything is important, and we have to give equal place to all of this. But I can't just say, oh, it is 17, the highest rubrics are covered by lac humanum. So give lac humanum. I don't know what is lac humanum. Let me study it, let me learn about it, let me then give it. So the rubrics are ambition, dissatisfaction, undeserving, can have rigidity and laxity. It have passive congestion, fullness and emptiness, symmetry and asymmetry. So sense of floating from the waist up like hot air balloon, absent-minded, as if, being persuaded by others. Mood swings, anger, isolated, all these come in her dreams. Sadness, suicidal thoughts, two wills. Anacardium is not the only remedy with two wills. Spiritual and God-fearing versus unreligious and sinful. I wish I could tell you the other daughter-in-law is like humanum, but she's not. Okay. So need to improve at work versus needing to relax, to help or not to help others. So constantly vacillation. I am human, but I have lack of integration of awareness of my own body. I have disgust of self. Lac caninum has disgust of self. They hate themselves. They also have fear of snakes, which also lac caninum has, of being alone. There are lots of lac rubrics which may be common. And in fact, if you again, same thing, if you come to lac, then some of the rubrics you can take as taken for granted, even if it's there, not in one and not in the other. Fear of snakes, of being alone, danger, adventurous. I'm human being, please respect me like a human, they say. But on the other hand, they don't like themselves. So lot of contradiction and things. Alternate side again like lac caninum. Weight fluctuations again like lac caninum. Craving sweets, starchy chocolate, salt, bacon, ginger. Eating disorders. Eating will always be disorder because they will want too much food, then have guilt and then not eat. Then, so this will be always there. Thirstless, chilly, cracks in the corners of the mouth, nausea from odor of food, pain in the chest from sternum to. So they indicated for conflicting people who can't decide between materialistic and spiritual. They become conscientious about moral issues and blow up small sins as large. I did wrong, I did wrong, I did wrong. And spend their life reproaching themselves. In the long run, they suffer from depression, isolation, and identity problems, like this lysis, dissolving of ego.